Now let us think about ways to provide water supply. And when you think about it, you realize that irrigation of the land with seawater desalinated by fusion power is ancient. It is called rain. And we can see examples from history of thousands of years ago. Here are just several, some in the Middle East, where you can see that people have quite intentionally dug cisterns to catch rain. Rain is seasonal, so you need to catch it when it's here so that you have water when it's not here. Here's an example from Central America, from the Yucatan Peninsula, from 300 Common Era. And then here's a painting of what this water cistern might have looked like. There are some truly beautiful examples of rainwater harvesting and collection in India. They are called step walls. And what happened was, so in this part of India, there's a very dry season, and then pouring down rain happens sometimes. And in these villages, stonemasons were hired to dig holes in the ground to catch the rain. And as time went by, they made them a little bit more usable and a little bit more usable. They started cutting steps in there. And in this place at this time, it was the women who were responsible for getting water for the rest of the people. And so women would gather in these places. And it happened that these turned into very social and culturally important gatherings. And as time went on, you can see the masons, who became sculptors and architects, really, made more and more elaborate places. And so these became just really important places to gather, ostensibly for collecting water, but for much more. And if you look at these pictures, you can see that when there wasn't much rain and the land was dry, the water level would be low, and so the women with their buckets would go down, down, down these steps. And then when pouring down rain happened, when the monsoons happened, these would fill up, but there would still be steps, and so the women would go down with their buckets to whatever level the water was at. I just think these are wonderful. You can look these up on Google and Wikipedia, and there's a very nice book about them in the architecture library at the U of O. Here's another striking example, couple of striking examples. These are rainwater cisterns under the streets, under the plazas in Istanbul, Turkey. And there are openings in the street to let rainwater in, and that means light comes in too. So if you are down here in these cisterns, they are just beautiful places. And it turns out that these are now tourist attractions. People love to go here. Here's a similar one, this one in Portugal from much later. You can see how beautiful this is. Then here's an example from Renaissance Italy. A cistern built into the center of a villa. And finally, in Mughal, India, this was a period when Persian explorers and developers traveled across the Silk Road and traveled to India and brought their spectacular art and architecture with them. And this period was very rich architecturally. And if you do a Google image search sometime, you will find some beautiful examples of water features, both fountains and things that make sound, as well as rainwater cisterns, which you see pictured here.